everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a good day today. Today I thought I would go ahead and film this video outside because it's a nice warm sunny day here in Texas. I hope the weather is nice where y'all are at, but I know here it's starting to warm up and this is my kind of weather. So I'm outside here and I thought I would go ahead and continue on with our identity series. So I have made one prior video to this one, and if you haven't watched that one about identity, please go back and watch that one, and then this one will make a lot more sense to you. In this series I will be talking about identity, but I wanted to preface this by saying that although my channel has been talking a lot about non-duality and the twin flame journey, enlightenment, awakening, whatever you want to call it, what I'm speaking about here and what really makes a change in one's life isn't something that you have to attain. It's not something that has to happen to you. It's already here and now. So what I'm trying to say is you don't have to attain enlightenment or attain some kind of awakening. Those are just labels that I have used in the past to kind of just put a mark in the sand of what was before and after a point in my life that I basically just had an identity shift. And what was that identity shift? The identity shift was to our true reality, to the true nature of what and who I am and you are. So most of us always struggle with these kind of questions about who we are, why we're here, what our purpose is. And why is it that we struggle with these questions? Or why do we always go back and forth with these questions trying to figure out who we are? It's because we've truly forgotten our true identity. So we've forgotten everything. And I can tell you why I feel that we've forgotten everything. Because after I've had my non-dual experience, I realized that everything was still the same. Nothing really changed. What changed was a sense of a change in perception, really. A change in what I felt I was and what I felt the world was and or the universe, everything in our existence, reality as it is. So all of that changed for me. While I was believing it was one way before, I found out it was a different way. And really nothing changed in my actual experience, just my perception. So think about that. Everything can just change with your perception. So that's something to keep in mind. But what I wanted to focus on here is what our true reality is and what our true nature is, to kind of build a foundation to work off of in this identity series. So what you truly are is something infinite. It's something that lacks nothing. And if you lack nothing, you can have everything. So whatever you want your identity to be is already here and now. There's nothing you have to work for. There's nothing you have to attain or, do something about. It's all here and now, which is the most beautiful thing ever. This is all just whatever you want it to be. But if you have a perception of reality or of yourself that's limited, and most of us have that kind of perception, then your reality will be limited. And your experiences will be limited, and what your identity will be very limited, really, to whatever your experiences have been, whatever you've been taught, pretty much whatever you were raised into, whatever beliefs you held will probably all remain the same until you have this identity shift of realizing that what you are is limitless. You can be whatever you want to be. So reality isn't really reality like you have always thought it to be. It's all an illusion. Everything here appears to be real, but it's not. But at the same time, it's good to remember that this is as real as it's going to get. So this is our reality. And if we're going to live in this reality that already is here and now, how do you want to live it? What do you want your identity to be? If you could erase the whole slate of yourself to a blank slate, a blank piece of paper, what would you want? Start writing, start journaling maybe, what you would want your identity to be. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? Do you want to have children? Do you want to be married? Do you want to have pets? What do you want to do for your job? There really is no purpose in this reality other than life itself, just living and moving through all of these different time and space that doesn't even really exist. All it is just getting to know itself in all kinds of forms. Because reality is limitless and infinite, everything is already existing here. It's whatever we choose in our perception that allows us to change from one thing or another. If my perception and my reality was always that I was born into a Christian household that had to be married to a husband, and I had to be a stay-at-home wife and or mother and raise up my kids and always believe this one religion, that would be my life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I, in my heart, really wanted more or wanted a different reality or a different identity, I just want you to know that's possible. What you were raised into, what you are now, is ever changing. Our identity is always changing. Again, if you haven't watched my previous video on identity, watch that. Basically, our identity isn't something that's fixed. Nothing is fixed other than the true nature of this reality. So I just wanted to point out a few things to you for now. And that's just to start to realize that everything is always changing and it can always be something different. It can be whatever you want it to be. We are not powerless. This is everything here and now is you. It's all happening from your perception. It's happening within you. So everything you ever wanted is within your power. You have this. So start to think about what kind of reality you want to live in, and you will start to see how quickly things can change. We aren't bound by anything. This is something that is never ending. Whatever you want to imagine is possible. If you can imagine something, if you can imagine yourself being something, doing something, and you truly feel it in your heart and you want it, it's possible. And you can have it quicker than you really think. So this series is talking about identity. On my next video, I will be adding to this. I will be posting these videos on a weekly basis, so please check back. But for right now, I want you to really examine your identity and see what it is now, and truly examine your heart. What do you want for yourself? If you could have everything you wanted the way you want it, regardless of what other people may think, regardless of what your beliefs were that you were raised up in, regardless of what other people want for you, what do you want for yourself in your heart? Start to journal this. Start to write this down. Because on my next video, we'll be putting some of these things into action. And I want you to start to also realize that reality is always changing. We don't stay the same. Our identity is always changing. Go back and watch my previous video so you can start to realize this. And reality itself is ever changing. It's an illusion of ever changing things that happen, however our perception is, however we believe reality is. So a lot of this is all happening within you. And this is what I want to share with y'all. So I just wanted to make a video kind of letting you know that the reality and the person you thought you were is not who you are. You aren't even a person. You aren't even a self. You always have been, will be. You've always been this consciousness, this awareness that you see through. And there's many different forms, and you're all of them. And you are everything that is being created. You are everything that's happening. That is all you. You can have anything you want. Everything is yours. You're the co-creator. You're the creator in this. And all you have to do is realize that and then go from there. So I want you to also think back to when you were a child. Remember back to when you had an imagination and you imagined you were this or that, and then you went outside and played and really believed in that and how you really felt that way. We stopped doing that when we became teenagers or adults, but we shouldn't have. That's still happening. We can still imagine what we want for ourselves. Go out there and get it and do it, and it happens. It's that simple. So while I may have only shared a few things with you, I really want you to ponder these things before we move on to the next video. And if you have any questions or comments, I certainly welcome those. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you return back to watch the third video. Thank you.